All right. Welcome to DCT.
Episode 15. Ben, if the moon is responsible for the waves, what does the sun do?
That might be your stupidest question.
In terms of water, what does the sun do?
I don't fucking know. Heat it?
We're dropping that one quick. No, you don't heat water. I guess it does.
You ever heard of boiling?
I guess the sun heats water, heats everything.
Yeah.
Is that why it's cold? Is it colder at the ocean floor? Or is it hotter because you get near Earth?
It's colder. I'm 90% sure.
I don't know. Because icebergs are on the top.
No, because the bottom of the ocean floor is not boiling.
Oh, you been there recently? Huh? It's not boiling. Actually, it is boiling.
You asked me what does the sun do, idiot.
That's why volcanoes are underground.
There's above ground volcanoes too.
But they spurt up. They grow and expand from the floor. That's a science fact, not a perverted take, I promise. No, because the tectonic plates. Well, look, biology class, not biology.
Biology.
A little science class for you folks. Tectonic plates shift and open up the Earth's core, where it is quite warm, I've been told.
You been there?
Been told. Let's move on.
Good idea.
Playoffs. Our playoff bracket challenge. We were tied at 11 points.
And then the NHL happened.
And then the conference final happened.
Yeah.
I had Florida winning in 6. They won in 5. And I had Edmonton losing in 6. They won in 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought it was 6. You're right.
No,
it was 5.
4-1. Both series.
That's crazy.
Let's go for Florida first because it's happy for me.
Yeah.
I thought Florida was going to win. I thought Carolina was going to put up more of a fight.
They looked so submissive for most of that series.
Their number one issue was they couldn't get their shots. And that's how they beat every team before them.
Yeah.
They were out shooting, and it didn't have to be a good quality shot. It wasn't from the slot every time.
No.
They were trying to get rebounds, low shots, traffic, as many pucks on net as you can, and understand that something will go in. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
They went up against Logan Thompson for the Capitals. He had the second best save percentage, and I think he still does, in active goaltenders in the playoffs. At .917, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what he stopped at. I think Comrie was the only one with a better save percentage. But he only played so many games. Same with Logan. But they were getting so many shots on net, and Florida shut that down.
Yeah.
I was making fun of the Seth Jones acquisition. He's played great.
Yeah. I know that Florida is obviously a much better team than the Caps were looking at the end of that postseason, but Carolina did not look the same whatsoever.
I almost wonder if the Caps, and I'm a Caps fan, but I almost wonder if they would have put up more of a fight against Florida, if that would have been a better series.
I think they would have personally. I just think the matchups weren't good for Carolina. Matchup wasn't good for the Caps, and I don't think the Florida matchup was good for the Hurricane.
Florida's a more physical team than Carolina.
Yeah.
They were missing Chatfield, which is a big hurt for them on the D.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think the Caps played to their physical strength against Carolina. No. They shied away from that part of the game. So if they had done the same with Florida, it doesn't matter. Ifs, ands, or buts. Florida won. They played well.
Yeah.
They have a solid defensive core who keep showing up. Schmid looked great. Ekblad looked great. They all look fantastic. I don't see him slowing down. With Edmonton, I don't even want to talk about it. Because what I've said every time with the Oilers is that you can't win by outscoring your opponent.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
That's the only way that they win, and they keep doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many goals you score. If they're going to go tit for tat, they're going to outscore you every single time.
Defense win championships is not in their repertoire.
It's not working for them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to affect them. I thought Dallas had one of the most solid defensive groups.
You thought Dallas had the chance to win the whole thing, right?
I had Dallas winning the cup. I think I would have had Dallas winning the entire cup. I think it's what I had in my bracket, separate from this bracket.
Yeah.
And I did not have Edmonton getting this far. I had Edmonton losing in the first round at LA.
And then you had them winning against, or you had Edmonton losing against Vegas.
Yes.
And then you had them losing against
Dallas.
Yes, that is true.
So,
0-3.
Yes, but Now that they're going up against Florida in the finals, I can safely say Panthers in 6. I do not think Edmonton has a chance. They are not good enough. They're not good enough to beat this Panthers team. They haven't changed enough from last year to be better than this Panthers team this year. They haven't. And honestly, them bringing it to a Game 7 last year where it was 3-1, it's not going to happen again. Florida is not going to choke away. They're not going to choke away a 3-0 series lead. It's not going to happen. It better not happen.
I can't wait for the Oilers to win in 6.
Would you take them in 6?
I just don't see Florida keeping up with the goal scoring of Draisaitl.
See, I do.
I mean, they've been great.
You got Lundell, Barkov, Marchand, Reinhart, Bennett, Kachuk. That Rodriguez is still a great player. People forget about him. They have such an insane forward group.
They do, yeah.
And their defensive group can score too. Skinner is a good goaltender for Edmonton, but he's so inconsistent.
Are any of Florida's forwards better than Draisaitl or McDavid?
That's a great question. Honestly, no. No, they are not. Draisaitl and McDavid are better than every single forward if you match them up 1-for-1 than the Florida Panthers. But it's a team sport.
Yeah.
It is. And depth scoring wins you championships. And that's what they didn't have.
Not for the Oilers in this playoff run.
No, but they haven't won a championship.
That's true.
And Florida is a team filled with depth. I think that's why they will win. Is depth scoring. It depends on what Skinner you get, though. If you get first-round Skinner with a .8 save percentage average, yeah, it's going to be a quick series.
Yeah.
But if you get Dallas Skinner, where you pull off 2 shutouts, it's a different team.
Yeah.
But I give the coaching advantage to Florida. I give the defensive advantage, and I give the forward advantage and depth. The only thing that Edmonton has is superstar power. And don't count it out when it's McDavid and Dry.
Yeah.
But I'm counting it out.
You've been counting them out this whole postseason. Let's see how that goes.
Let's go to the NBA.
Yeah. I did, would you say slightly better than you?
You did fantastic. And I just threw up in my mouth a little bit after saying that.
No, let's start out in the West. I think the summary of Thunder Timberwolves could just be that Minnesota was not ready for that conference final. You had every single one of their players in multiple games just not show up. And I get it. Players do that. You're going to have an off night every now and then, but you're in the Western Conference Finals. And if you're Anthony Edwards and you have 3 games where you're averaging 18 points, if you're going to be the so-called face of the league,
you got to play like
that everyone thinks you have the potential to be, you got to play like it. Like, I know, obviously, I picked the Thunder to win in 6 games. They won in 5. They had multiple games where it was not even close. They just blew them out. Shea had a couple 40-point games, I believe, and the thing that made the difference in this series was the Thunder's depth. Minnesota just did not have guys off the bench that could compete with the Thunder's bench.
Look, your superstars aren't showing up.
No.
Ant doesn't show up. You want to win, you have to have players who can fill in that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up that slack to win. That's how championship teams do it.
Yeah.
It's your A players can't always play their A game. You're going to get shut down a game in a series.
Yeah.
It'll happen. The best of the best, your LeBrons, your Jordans, your Kobes, they find a way to avoid that. They come back in that second half of the game after being shut down.
Yeah.
And they prove a point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ant is that guy. He's proven that he's not yet.
I mean, in game 5, I think it was, he had 2 shots in the first half.
Yeah. So
you can't be doing that.
You can't do that and win, especially if your other guys aren't going to show up for you.
No.
So
and Julius Randle didn't. So
no.
Let's move on to the Pacers. I don't want to talk about the Timberwolves anymore.
Yeah.
I had Pacers in 6.
And it was Pacers in 6.
They
send the Knicks home.
They did. And I'm not going to lie. I think if the Pacers had lost game 6, the Knicks win in 7.
Really? You think so? You think they find a way to regroup?
Game 7 in New York, after going down 3-1 and coming back from that, I think they would have won. But that's a hypothetical. because of a Mr. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
He averaged incredible assist numbers throughout this entire series, and that was the difference. He had multiple games where he was under 20 points, but
I don't care if you're facilitating the play.
he was facilitating the entire series. And I think the difference between the Pacers and the Timberwolves, they both have stars, and I'm going to say that Tyrese Halliburton is a star now. I think it's pretty hard to argue against that.
This is the time of the season where it matters most.
Yeah, and when your game 4 is 35 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, 4 steals, and 0 turnovers, that's a superstar. But the difference between the two teams was that when Tyrese had those bad games, he had a Pascal.
His team stepped up.
He had a Pascal Siakam to score 39 points in game 2, so they won. He had an Aaron Nesmith score 6 threes to bring them back in that first game that they ended up winning in overtime.
You got players coming off the bench filling those gaps.
Yeah. And I think this finals matchup is going to be very interesting because I think that it is going to be a deep team versus a deep team.
Now, I mean, those are two teams with a lot of depth that can go player for player. I think it's going to come down, they say this all the time, but this will come down to who wants it.
Yeah.
That's going to be a gut match.
I think
You're pretty even on paper.
yes. But I think it's going to be Thunder in 5.
That's a ridiculous, really.
Why?
Thunder in 5.
I think that they have deep teams, but I think the quality of the Thunder's bench is better than the quality of the Pacers bench.
I would also say the Thunder have played better teams.
Yes.
And they've played... I mean, the Wolves did well.
It's tough, but
I think the Knicks were more of a Cinderella story. I don't think that was...
The Pacers seem to have just like beaten the brakes off of every team they've played so far. But
yes.
that is a Bucks team without a Damian Lillard. That is a Cleveland team without a lot of its players that were playing poorly due to injury. It is a Knicks team. Well, that's a Knicks team.
Yeah, I look, the Knicks were fun to watch, but I don't think on paper, again, I think that was a Cinderella run. I think that's a lot of pieces fall into place.
I mean, again, I think that if the Celtics don't lose the
you
top
see
5
them
player
back
in the league,
championship.
yeah, I think they beat the Pacers too.
But you got the Cavs. Sorry, you have OKC. You
I have
the Thunder.
OKC in 5.
All right.
I don't think anybody on the Pacers can guard Shea. I don't think anybody on the Pacers is going to be able to match up with their. Well, actually, I take that back. I think Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam against Chet and Hartenstein is going to be an interesting matchup. But there are just too many guys.
Hey, man, that's the story of your life. If that's your pick, that's your pick. But let's do a little extra fun for an extra point.
Yeah.
In this round of playoffs.
Extra point.
Extra 2 points. You want to do 2 points?
2 points.
Extra 2 points.
Yeah.
MVP of each league.
No, I think we should stick to what we were doing. I think we should do 2 points for games and series and 1 point for MVP. You just want to do 2 points because you're down 2 points.
Yes,
right
I do. But I'm happy to do that. All right, fine. I'll go for the NHL.
Okay.
I think it's going to be McDavid. Win or lose, I think McDavid's taking on the Conn Smythe again.
Really?
Again. He's 9 points ahead of the next Florida Panthers player. Because he's at 26. I think Barkov is the most at 17. I think you go McDavid.
Interesting.
And I don't think Bob's taken it. He's done well, but he hasn't done that well.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bob of last year.
No.
Or the year before, where he was fantastic in that Vegas run where they lost.
Yeah.
No, I give it to McDavid. I think he's winning the Conn Smythe again. Win or lose.
So you think that Oilers lose again, but McDavid gets the trophy again?
I think they make that poor son of a bitch skate back onto the ice after his team loses to pick up his stupid trophy.
So depressed.
If I'm McDavid, I'm leaving after this year. If you win or lose.
Yeah.
Seriously.
If you win.
Why
would you win after winning a championship? Or
why would you leave after winning a
Yeah.
championship? I'll tell you why. Because he's the only reason why they've won that championship. He's the only reason why they're even here.
Okay.
And there's other teams you could go to with other star players and a better defensive core and better goaltending where you would fit in really well. Not to spoil anything, because we'll talk about it this summer, but I see him a perfect fit, the Boston Bruins.
We'll come to
We'll
that.
go to
we'll
that
cross
later.
that bridge when
Who
we
do
get
you
there.
got MVP for the NBA Finals?
I've got Shea. I know that's the very just vanilla,
Broad
basic
strokes
pick.
answer.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody else on the Thunder is going to average. I mean, I see Shea averaging 30 this series.
Yeah, really?
And I think that...
You don't think he gets shut down a little bit?
No.
All right.
I mean, I think that last series, I think Minnesota matched up against him better, and he still had multiple 40-point
That's actually a fair
games.
point.
So...
I think they had better coverage for him.
Yeah. They threw Jaden McDaniels at him. They threw Anthony Edwards at him. They threw everybody, and he still had multiple 40-point games. So I've got Shea, MVP.
All right, I'm excited. This is going to be an exciting round. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, good luck.
Hey,
Good luck, buddy.
good luck. Do we want to talk about a non-sports topic?
Well, we disagree so much. I think it's time for another debate.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
Well, that's you moron. Let's talk about pajamas.
Calm down.
Ben here thinks that you can wear pajamas anywhere at any time.
I didn't
For any
say,
reason.
No,
That's
no,
exactly
no.
what you
You're
said.
twisting my words.
That's exactly what was said.
All right, fine. Let's talk about where exactly can you wear pajamas?
Bed.
That's it?
Bed. I got 3 places where you can wear pajamas in society, because we live in a society,
Really?
and you have to be a part of that society.
Okay.
Hospital. No one cares how you show up to hospital. They're going to make you get change anyways into pajamas.
Yeah.
They're just hospitalized pajamas, which for some reason leave your tail out. I don't know what that's for.
More aerial.
Easy enema. So hospital, you're going to like this one. Drive-through of any fast food restaurant.
So car.
Pretty much anything you own. Yes, you can do it in your car, which you should own.
Mm-hmm.
If you're renting the car, if it's a lease, you better not be in your pajamas in a lease. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
And then the other one's your lawn, your property, your lawn. That's it. Bed, so it's 4 places. Anywhere in your house or outside your house on your property.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and a drive-through.
Car.
Drive-through.
How are you going to get there?
Well, yeah, but but like you can't just be like, honey, I'm going for a drive, and then walk out in your trunks.
Why not?
Because I would have you
I would-
arrested and shot.
I'd be so much more comfortable on a late night drive in my undies.
Okay, well, what are pajamas to you? Is it what you go to sleep in, or is it like a set uniform of like silk?
Now, I will say, I think when we're talking about pajamas, I'm thinking like pajama bottoms. Like,
I don't own pajama bottoms.
You don't own?
No,
like,
I have a
pair of-
girlfriend. I don't have a need for that.
Yeah, so do I.
Come on, Ben. It's your month. We can be happy about this. We can open up. No,
Pajama bottoms, like the plaid.
no one owns pajama bottoms anymore.
Yes, they do.
No. Those must have been heirloomed. Your forefathers must
Everybody
have worn.
owns pajama bottoms.
I don't own pajama bottoms. My girlfriend does, and I hate her for it. But
You hate your girlfriend?
rewind.
I love mine.
I don't think that's what pajamas are. Pajamas are what you go to bed in.
Nope, I
Yes.
disagree.
What do you go to bed in?
Pajama bottoms.
That's so upsetting.
I actually don't. Most of the time, I go to bed wearing
Trunks
trunks.
and a shirt.
Yeah, sometimes shirtless.
Sometimes no tarp. All right. For me, tarp is dependent on weather.
Yeah, I agree. But let's just go back.
Sorry.
Let's just go back. I'm not talking about my clothing choice while I'm in bed. I think that you can wear pajama bottoms. Not anywhere, but say, your girlfriend's craving a certain brand of cereal at 11 o'clock, and
Then
you
you send her out to get that cereal.
you know what she can be wearing?
Empowerment.
Her pajamas.
Yeah. Well, if she gets arrested for it, it's not my fault.
She's not going to get arrested for wearing pajamas.
I don't think anyone of any gender, of any age, should be wearing pajama bottoms out in public.
So if I go on
So
a late
you think you're going on a cereal run?
if I go on a late night run for cereal to our local Target,
you trust the people that shop at your local Target
yeah,
that you're going to wear pajama bottoms around them.
I don't know these people. Who cares?
Ben, it's all about safety, my friend.
Safety?
Safety.
What's pajama bottoms going to do against shorts?
They can come off way too fast. They can. It's true. At least jeans for a target run.
Jeans?
Jeans.
I'm not putting
There's a
on
button
jeans.
and
You're
a zipper.
An idiot. I'm not putting jeans on
And you
for
know
a
what?
late
Dare
night.
I say a belt?
I've lost a lot of respect for you.
You seem like the type of person who'd wear pajamas to a bank.
I wouldn't wear pajamas to a bank. That's stupid.
Would you wear pajamas to a coffee shop?
No.
Guess what's in Target? Starbucks.
Not at 11 o'clock. It's not.
Still there.
It's there. It's not open.
See, you're getting bogged down in technicalities. Okay, here's a better question. Who would you feel comfortable seeing you in your pajamas? Anyone? Anyone you know? Anyone you don't know?
Anyone?
You feel fine showing it all out there to anyone.
What kind of pajamas are you wearing,
I
dude?
don't know.
I'm talking about like flannel pajama bottoms. Like ones that are plaid that you wear that you can tuck your socks into. You can tuck
into your socks.
Yeah, tuck into your socks.
Tuck your socks into.
Shut up.
Moron. No, you don't wear pajamas outside. It's just not appropriate. It's not respectful to
and
culture.
that's where I think we differ, because you're an idiot for having that.
But
take.
you only talked about pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
So you don't have a pajama top.
I wear a shirt.
Just a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So you don't have pajamas.
No.
You have night
I'm
pants
not
that
an 8-year-old boy.
You have bed pants that you wear out to get your girlfriend cereal.
They're comfy.
See, but I can't wear a pant in bed.
Pant?
I can't wear a pant in bed. I need my legs free, Ben.
Even when it's cold out?
What's the point of having nice sheets if you're going to wear clothes in bed? That's a good question. I like that
What's
question.
the point of having nice sheets if you're going to wear pants in bed?
Yes. You could sleep in a burlap sack with pajamas and not know the difference.
I will draw this differentiating line.
Draw it.
I don't get into bed wearing the pajamas that I wore out in public.
So you have outside clothes and inside clothes?
No.
My girlfriend has taught me about outside clothes and inside clothes.
Well, technically, yeah.
There are clothes that you wear outside that should not touch any inside material. No couches, no sofas, no chairs, no bed.
I disagree with sofas, but
no
bed.
You've never taken a nap on a sofa? You never put your face on your sofa? I bury my face on my sofa.
In a sofa?
Well, I'm not like digging in, but
why are you ass up on a sofa?
No, I'll lie down on the couch.
So will I, but
your face is touching it. I don't use a pillow.
My face is not touching
but
the
I don't
part
sleep
where
with a
my
pillow.
ass sits.
You have a designated ass spot on your sofa.
It's called the armrest that you put your face on.
No. So bad for your back. You have to lie down flat.
Yeah, you've known that. I bet your girlfriend kicks you out to the couch a lot. All right, let's move on.
Moving on. Well, I think I won that debate. Confident in that. Just like I won the home turf. Anyways, shut up. We're going to do a fun little segment.
Okay.
Let's call it the Mountain of Mounts. We're going to be doing a Mount Rushmore.
The Mountains of Mounts.
Mountain of Mounts.
That's the stupidest title ever.
Thank you very much.
It's a Mount Rushmore of
Washington sports teams.
Yeah.
Today we'll be doing the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. And we will be prefacing this with it is player 21st century and onward.
We want to talk about our lifetime because we don't want to offend anyone who came before us.
I have never watched players play from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
You can watch old tape, but it's not the same as live.
It's not the same. No. So
2000s and beyond.
Yeah.
Who do you got? Number one of 4 picks for your Washington Commanders Mount Rushmore.
Well, first of all, let me preface this with saying this is the Washington Redskins / Washington football team / Washington Commanders Mount Rushmore 21st century and on. First,
thanks, nerd. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Now go. Who's your first pick?
Sorry, you said Commanders, and a lot of these guys weren't Commanders.
That's true.
First pick, not number 1, but first pick.
This is in no order.
No order, yeah. I've got Santana Moss.
Fair. Great wide receiver.
Anybody that's been a Washington fan in the 21st century knows who Santana Moss is, loves Santana Moss. He played for, I believe, 4 years before the... Wow, I was about to say Commanders. You've infected me. Before Washington on the Jets, I believe.
Yeah.
Then he came to Washington and played there from 2005 to 2014. So nice little 9-year career there. But during that time, he had 581 catches for just over 7,800 yards, 48 touchdowns, and 146 games. Pretty solid track record.
On a team that didn't have a solid quarterback.
No, God, no. His best quarterback was...
I mean, you end your career with RG3.
1 year of RG3 because the year after he was hurt, and that was the last year he played. So 1 year of RG3. Before that, you had Rex Grossman.
It's in the name. It's just not a good stability franchise player.
No. But, one of our GOATs, I think.
I think that's fair. Who do you got for number 2?
I've got London Fletcher. One of the most underrated players of that time period, I think. He played from 2007 to 2013 on Washington. Before that, I believe he played for the Rams and the Bills, I believe. But while he was on Washington, in 112 games, he had 616 solo tackles, 340 assisted ones, 11.5 sacks, and 12 interceptions.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. There's been a couple graphics that compare his numbers and stack them up to Ray Lewis's, and they're comparable. Now, of course, I do think Ray Lewis was on a better team, so it makes sense that his stats...
When you're on a championship caliber team, you're going to get more attention.
Exactly. And
you play in bigger games.
His stats would suffer a little bit because you've got Ed Reed out there and all those guys on that Baltimore defense. But regardless, if your stats are comparable to the greatest linebacker of all time...
If you're mirroring that...
Yeah, you're doing something right.
Yep.
So, one of the best guys I've ever seen play. And that was in the twilight of his career.
Yeah,
so,
that's a great... Because, 16-year career, that's long.
Yeah.
And to still be doing it in your last 7,
mm-hmm.
No, that's impressive.
Yeah. So, my next player, a Washington favorite for the majority of the time I've been watching them, is Ryan Kerrigan. Started out with us 2011, played with us until 2020. Then he went to Philly.
Hey.
I don't want to
talk. They need something good.
They just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the quality of life. It's terrible, Ben. It's terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It's still not good. But 156 games for us. He had 95.5 sacks. He had 330 solo tackles and 124 assists on him. Those are like...
You said 94 sacks?
95.5.
95.5.
Yeah.
I think J.J. Watt's got 121.
Something like that.
In a comparable amount of games.
Yeah.
I think he's looking at 151 games.
That's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. That's again, good company to be in.
Yeah.
You were talking about Ray Lewis earlier.
And I think all these guys, the reason why they're not getting that recognition...
You're on what used to be the Deadskins. I mean, not the official Deadskins, but you're on a team that's going nowhere.
Terrible. But he's definitely on there for me, at least.
Yeah. And then your last pick.
I think anybody that doesn't have this guy on the Washington Redskins / Washington football team / Commanders is stupid. And that's Sean Taylor. I was researching his stats before this just to see what they looked like. Not like super amazing stats, but Sean Taylor was one of those eye test guys. You watched him play and you thought to yourself, this guy's got it. His coverage skills were okay, but I think that if you project that into improving the way he was throughout his career, he ends as one of the best safeties of all time. He had 243 solo tackles, 12 assists, and 55 games. He only played 55 games. When he passed away halfway through the season, he was leading the NFC in interceptions.
Yeah.
He's always been one of the hardest hitters I've ever seen.
Look at that Pro Bowl. You look up Sean Taylor, and the first thing that will pop up is Pro Bowl hit.
That's a Pro Bowl that, nobody's trying to injure anybody in.
All-Star games are not meant for 100% effort. It's to give the fans a dream fantasy draft team.
Yeah.
You look up that hit. He hit him so hard that he ran back onto the field, congratulated Sean Taylor, and said, "Thanks for the hit. Great hit."
Well, to be fair, that guy probably has CTE now, but
That's like shooting a deer and then having that deer crawl to you and be like, "Nice shot." That's insane.
yeah. So
You hit a guy so hard that he loves you after. That's crazy.
yeah. So my Mount Rushmore, I've got Santana Moss, London Fletcher, Ryan Kerrigan, Sean Taylor.
Rest in peace. Now that's a fantastic Washington football team Mount Rushmore for the 2000s.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any disagreement there.
No, I don't think there should be.
The only thing that would be is if RG3 had a career.
Big if.
Yeah, I think about it every time.
Now, if RG3 had a career, we wouldn't have Jaden Daniels.
Not going to say I'm happy, but I'm happy with how things are looking. Happy for the future.
Very happy.
You ready for our hot shots?
Yeah.
And now we're ready for hot shots. I'm ready. For this episode of Hot Shots, we're going to be doing states capitals.
Capital. I think we go 1 for 1.
1 for 1?
I was originally thinking we do like 3 for 3, but I say we go 1 for 1.
1
for all
one.
the marbles to
States capitals.
See who drinks that beautiful drink.
I'm ready.
All right.
You go first.
My state is Texas.
Houston.
Wrong.
Dallas.
Wrong.
Gun City.
Accurate.
Prescottville.
No. Prescottville.
Dude, why don't I know Texas? El Paso?
No.
What is it? What other cities are there?
Austin.
Austin, Texas. I should have gotten that.
Yeah.
How did I forget about it? Alaska.
Juneau.
I'm so depressed.
Is
I
it
was
Juneau?
like, yeah.
That's what I thought.
I used to think it was Anchorage,
So did I.
but it's Juneau.
But I'm just too elite.
Well, today I get mumbo sauce with Texas Pete.
Can I do
Wow,
the pour?
they're rubbing it in with Texas. No, you may not pour my shot.
Why not?
Because you're a vindictive person and you make me cry. That enough mumbo for you?
Should have done the mumbo on top.
You know what? I'll do a triple stack.
Holy crap.
A little bit of a layer.
Oh, wailing.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Can I just
5.
do it?
I think that's fair.
You're such a loser.
I am.
You're barely coating the bottom of the freaking glass.
I will coat what
That's
I want
not
to coat.
even a full shot.
Ben, that's going to hurt me. You know it's going to hurt me.
You suck.
I suck hot sauce. Happy Pride Month. Here we go. We got to cut that.
Just keep it going.
I'm ready. I can do this.
Yeah.
I know I can do it.
Yep.
You ready to do the outro?
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching this episode of DCT. We really do appreciate it.
I prefer to start talking once Bryce takes his shot because I know he's not going to be able to talk, which I think is hilarious. If you guys could see the view that I see of him currently, you would laugh quite a bit. But I've gotten kind of numb to it, I think. So we'll go ahead and say thank you for watching this week, guys. Signing off week 15. We'll see you for episode 16.
Yep.
Have a good one, guys.